Hello, everybody. We are 3 weeks into my tummy tuck experience. I've documented pretty much the whole journey, and we have a lot to chat about because I'm sure you're gonna wonder, do I regret my decision? This might come to a surprise, but I am doing plastic surgery. Come in.
Hey, how are you? Oh my gosh.
I know.
I'm on candid camera. Oh my gosh, there's two of them.
I know.
See here? Yes, this is your perfect person for tummy tucks. Lots of loose skin, right? I kind of like this amorphous belly button that doesn't have much shape.
Hernia right here.
Yep, we'll fix that for you.
This is where everything is now. If I flex, I could put my fingers in between here. Everything visually is this. If I bend over, it's just skin, which is normal. Weight loss. Weight loss is not a goal. I do not need to lose any more weight. My issues are hernia, diastasis recti, back pain due to it, and honestly, the loose skin.
For surgery, you're going to be kind of hunched over.
So you stitch up like
Everything, that whole diastasis. You probably have a diastasis, maybe about 2 inches, and we're
Yeah.
right into each other. It's going to go from maybe hip to hip. Here's
Hip to
your
hip?
Yep.
Okay.
And we lift your skin up, tighten up the muscles.
Because I feel like that is just so much. I just want to
Oh, it's
take
much
the
better
whole
than that. It's going to
body.
be pulling down this way though. We tell patients, please do not stretch on your incision for a couple months after surgery. You may be feeling great and want to
a
like,
little hunch.
yeah, stay a little hunched. A million different creams on your scar, but if you stand up straight, and that tension of standing up straight, it's just going to create that tension. That tension is going to create your scar. It's going to get your scar to go a little bit wider and darker and thicker. So that's honestly the secret to keeping a scar thin.
I really, really missed you. I really did. This has been so weird to just completely fall off the face of the internet after being on the internet for 15 years, especially because I thought with this recovery experience, I was gonna somehow be able to vlog a week in my life and showcase week by week recovery until I actually lived what it's like to recover from a tummy tuck. I did not spend the night in the hospital, so I was in the recovery room only for, I believe, an hour after surgery, and then I went back to the hotel I was staying at with my dad.
Is this how this is supposed to work? Should we Google this thing? I think it's supposed to go a different way.
It doesn't feel comfortable?
I don't know. Is this comfort?
With my dad, and he was watching over me. He was helping me change my drains, which I have some stories about the drains, but it essentially is a tube that is deep inside of me, like this long.
No, it's not full. We should let it.
Where do we clip it?
Clip it to the top here.
Okay. Oh yeah. Even up there is sore. Ouchie. Okay, thank you. Is it heat all the way up?
You should get under the covers.
Like this long, and it's taking out the blood, so I don't get I think it's called a cernoma, and pretty much like a buildup of fluid and blood. And I had that essentially, you'll see, for a very, very long time.
So it really hurts to laugh or anything of that nature. Oh, it hurts so bad. It feels like a corset inside my body. It's been put to the tightest level, and I've been in it for like 3 years. I don't even know what I'm seeing. Eee. Okay.
After this point, and probably my first advice, now living through this experience, I'm going to give to somebody is I made my post-op procedure, which is usually 24 to 48 hours after, I made it the next day. So I got home from my surgery probably about 2 p.m. and at 7 a.m. the next day is when I decided to go in again for my post-op, which I made it there. My blood pressure started dropping. I should not have been traveling or exerting that much energy. I was spacing out my pain meds too much. And I also did not take my anti-nausea medication. I was taking it on an empty stomach. I was pretty much doing everything incorrectly. And I just remember, there's no footage of me, but I'm like shaking, and I just remember barely making eye contact with any of the medical professionals in the room and just saying, I was asking, like, please, I'm in so much pain, like pain meds. And they said, you know, we're a plastic surgery office, we can't, you have to go to the ER if you need pain medication. And it was almost an out-of-body experience. I had never been just, I can't describe anything. I felt like I needed to jump out of my own skin. I was in so much pain, and just the shakiness, and like I was losing it. I immediately went to the ER, and I have a little clip there, and that was enough pain medication to eventually get me a 2-hour drive to my next location I was staying. And I am so lucky I was able to stay at a friend's house, because I live 4 hours away from the surgery place. So my plan was to recover at my friend's house, because she is a nurse practitioner, and after this type of surgery, you have to do a shot every single day at the same time, and for blood clots.
Okay. It's time for the final shot. I think it was 7 days shots, right?
Yes.
7 days.
You want us to start over? Your lens is working.
No, it's okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All done?
Yay. All done.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Especially when you have a professional in the house.
Yes.
I am so beyond grateful for her and her friendship for taking care of me. I originally was supposed to be there just for the 5 days before, when I believed I was getting my drains out. Unfortunately, I was having too much drainage still, and that was very heartbreaking. I had myself at that appointment, and you can kind of see a lot of the bruising. I don't think I had any footage of the extent of what the incision and the bruising and everything looked like. And I did get my bandages changed at that appointment, but the drains stayed. I was staying at her place until the drains were out, and that meant I wasn't able to see my daughter. So my dad did end up driving my daughter to me, and I was able to spend some time with her, because throughout this, I already knew I didn't want her to see the first week of the healing process, and I was leaking blood. I was not myself. So beautiful to be able to see her, and I spent a couple more days at my friend's house, and I was gonna try to make it a whole nother week until the drains were out, but something inside of me told me I have to get back to my daughter. I have to get back to my daughter. I have to get back to my daughter. So my friend ended up, again, being so kind and driving me 2 hours back to my family's house, and I got to recover here with my daughter. And if I could go back, I think I would have just bit the bullet and done the drive all the way back home initially, and just waited the 2 weeks to get the drains out instead of trying to push and get them out in a week. Because now that I know more, you do kind of need the drains for the full 2 weeks. And I feel really bad for the time apart from my daughter, but now that have been with her, things are really a lot better. Those days in between getting my drains out and not coming back home were really hard mentally. Those were probably the hardest mental days. That brings us to now, 3 weeks later, and I want to show you what I have under my binder. If you're wondering, I'm still hunched over, which one is just physically as far as I can go at this point. 2, I think it's still 6 to 8 weeks. My plastic surgeon actually said for 2 months he wants me hunched over, just because the pulling and standing straight up is what can elongate a scar. So if you want more of a paper thin scar for something like this, you're gonna wanna be hunched. You're very deep into the healing process. This is a very long healing journey. Still bandaged up, and my belly button, one, I had one umbilical hernia, And I already had an Audi belly button. I also had an old belly button piercing I wanted to remove. So my belly button had a lot of work done, and I already think it's so cute. I actually showed it to my daughter's father, and he was like, is that what your belly button's gonna look like? So maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea. I already think it looks amazing. Everything is still very, very firm. This spot right here is gonna scab over and heal. This isn't part of the incision. This is where the tube was, and that's gonna be that hole right here. The incision itself looks really good. This is probably gonna be really raw photos to show, but I do have the last time I went in to get my bandages changed, I think this was at the 2-week mark. This is when I got my drains out. It did feel not great to get the drains out. It's not as painful as you think it would be, but to say there's zero pain, like everyone said, was not my experience. This area was, because I had my binder over it too, was so raw and just not fun. But considering the tube went like this, I could feel it being pulled out like this, and it created kind of this staticky, almost nerve pain, and then a sharp pain right there. Not unbearable. I didn't scream or anything. Everyone has their own unique experience. My mom has had drains for when she had her lung cancer treatment, part of her lung removed. She had a drain into her lungs, and hers was painless, but she's also just a beast and a champion, and I cannot compare. I think I have a low pain tolerance. Maybe it's more average, but yeah, this experience has been a painful one. I gotta speak more on it, but I'm just showing you what I can with the incision, and I probably showed the picture already of what, I guess I could turn around. I have no bruising or anything anymore, but it still feels like I've done 800 sit-ups. What I've noticed is right here is numb, but my incisions go over here. Over here I have total feeling, and it does sting. And I also still can't laugh or sneeze or cough without pain. Okay, I'll show you what it's like to put this back on. This, and you stretch it. Whew, so much better than when I had a tube coming out here. The question I posed at the beginning of this video is, do I regret going through such an invasive surgery, elective surgery? And I feel like depending on what day I made this video, my answer would be vastly different. Talk about the first 4 days are very painful. Then the pain kind of shifts and changes. This might be very circumstantial to me, but that week after those 4 days, what happened to me is the antibiotics really started messing with my stomach, to the point where I wasn't so much nauseous, so I didn't need to take the nausea pills. And this is gonna be TMI. Anything I was consuming was going right through me. So what I was doing in the morning, because I had to take the antibiotics 4 times a day, every 6 hours, was the second I would wake up, is I would chug like a 400 calorie Ensure drink just to have something in my stomach, because with the binder on, with all the swelling, with the feeling that you just did 1,000 sit-ups, it was so hard to eat. Up to the 2-week mark is when things really shifted, because I got to get off the antibiotics. But in those 2 weeks, I lost 10 pounds. I don't like to talk about weight, but that's 10% of my body weight in 2 weeks. So those last days, I was trying to get food in me, but I was spending, near the end, 8 hours on the toilet. I never threw up once. It was just like this, lose that much weight, even though I was trying to consume stuff and already having so much different kinds of pain, from stinging to nerve pain to tightness. I told my mom at that point, I think I was finally back here, and I could not regulate temperature. I was sweating, I was freezing, I was shaking. It felt like I was shaking in near death. If you were to ask me at all within those 2 weeks if I regretted the experience, especially, I would say that was the worst, of feeling like my body was shutting down because it was so hungry and I was just so malnourished. And again, maybe nobody goes through this and it was just my body's reaction, or very few people go through this, but I do want to note it. I was just like, what did I do to myself? These last probably 5 days, I have been feeling so good. I've been able to eat. I unfortunately, still have a long way to put back on the weight. I have a long way of recovery. I still have pains, but they're very manageable. It just feels like I have paper cuts right here, and all right here is just very numb. If I touch something down here, it hurts. So it doesn't hurt, but I get like a tinge of nerve feeling over here. So I would imagine this is going to take a whole year to heal from. I haven't been able to enjoy my body yet, so I think my answer will continue to change. The silver lining is, thankfully, I did pick a very, very good plastic surgeon, and he did a really good job. He did exactly what I had wanted, and probably better. And now that, when you're healing, you have a lot of time to research Reddit and other people's experiences and deep dive so many different holes. And it broke my heart so much to see people on Reddit and having bad experiences or results they didn't want, or infections, or just so many things that could go wrong that I didn't even really know about. Broke my heart because I knew how much they had struggled and went through, and how much time and energy and the toll it took on their body, and to receive less than ideal result would be just, I don't know, it would have been my last straw. Honestly, I would never recommend someone doing this if you haven't thought about it for years and you don't have the most incredible support system. I do not regret it like I was. I am really excited to see my healing process and the journey continuing. I'm already thinking in my head of 1,000 things I did not mention. If you have any questions or things you are curious about, or anything you want me to go more in depth of, please leave them in the comments down below. I am happy to make a future video where I can cohesively think of everything. I did not plan out this video, obviously, before I was filming it. I just needed to sit down that I'm feeling okay enough to, and word vomit as much as I could to get all of this out. And when I don't film for long enough and I really miss you guys, I can just go on and on and on. But I really want to help anyone who is thinking of making this decision, or just if you're curious. I'm happy to be that person to answer. We still have a lot to document. I still have a lot to share. I still have a lot to live and to experience. The entire scar healing process, me finally being able to stand up straight. Finally I'm off my walker. We are far from done, and I will also be getting back into regular content now that I have a little bit control over my body and I have a bit of energy back, and we will be consistent in 2025 of posting every single week. I am debating on if I want to keep doing it every single Monday or every single Wednesday, or just keep it more fluid. Let me know in the comments down below. I am going to go lay back down in my position that I have been stuck in for weeks and keep healing. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys very soon. Bye!